So gear is important. You need to have the right gear. You don't need to have the gear that you don't need because that's extra weight. A big theme of what I'm going to be talking about tonight is reducing your weight. The last few years we've had some very dangerous situations where people are skiing into the chalet as late as dusk and beyond because their packs are too heavy and their fitness levels are not up to standard. So when I'm talking gear, I have actually packed exactly as I would go to the chalet, including my underpants, because you need to see what is real and what I don't have here, you don't need to pack, okay? When you're packing, you need to have a proper backpack that is fully harnessed with waist straps and chest strap. It needs to fit you. Don't go borrowing Uncle Ken's pack who's 6 foot tall when you're a 4.5 foot person, because you won't be comfortable. You're skiing, the conditions could be anything from a lovely day walk in the park type conditions to quite uncomfortable, cold, windy, sleety, unpleasant. You don't want to be out in that any longer than you need to be. A heavy pack will slow you down. It will also make your job getting in much more difficult. So make sure when you're looking at your pack, check your gear in time to fix up the situation. If you discover that you've got broken buckles, you don't want to be discovering that one of your buckles is crushed the day that you're skiing in. You need to discover that 2 weeks prior so that you've got time to source another pack or buy the bits you need to be able to fix it. A broken pack is hell. You'll hate it. And it puts not just you at risk, but everybody you're skiing with at risk as well, because if they're waiting with you, they're also exposed for a lot longer than they need to be in what can be variable weather conditions. The other thing I want to say about the pack is that it needs to be a proper hiking pack or alpine pack. People in the past have used travel packs, which is similar in that they've got the harness, they might even have the waist belt, they might even have a chest strap. They're the sort that zips around the side and opens up like a suitcase. They are not appropriate for skiing with into the chalet. Basically, they don't have the structure and straps to hold everything nice and tight. Your hands are busy, so you can't be hoiking stuff around and rearranging it on your back. Your hands are busy. So you need to have a pack that everything is snugly, comfortably in, not loose and shaking, and as you ski, throwing your weight and your centre of gravity off. Okay, so if you're planning on bringing a travel pack type of pack, you need to now start sourcing something else. Okay, you can hire packs from the outdoor stores, talk to the people you know, talk to other people in your crew who you know do hiking or whatever. You need to have the right gear to be able to have a good time. Now, in my pack, I use this list. This is the list that we have put together recently. There's quite a few gear lists for the chalet floating around from previous years. Please don't use any of the old ones. Okay? Different people have gone, that's rubbish, that list. I can do a better one. They've created a better one, shared it around. And sure, it might have been better. But as a result, there's quite a number of lists out there. The management group has spent a substantial amount of time working out what actually needs to be on the list, and the list you're looking for looks exactly like this. Okay, it's the current one that's on the website. If someone gives you another list or you find your list from last year, please don't refer to that one. Whilst it won't be horrific, this one is a much better guide for the checklist. There's also a comprehensive explanation of each of these items in the detailed list that tells you what and why, like the reasons and actually what to look for when you're selecting gear to bring. So, in my pack, I started packing on page 2 of my packing list of what I'm taking to the chalet, because that's what's going in my big pack. Okay, the start of the packing list tells me what I'm going to wear when I'm skiing, which is actually in my bag for Mount Beauty Scout Hall. Mount Beauty Scout Hall has got my ski gear in it because I'm going to be putting that up on in the morning. It doesn't need to be in my big pack. Okay, and I will swap that for my work clothes and leave that in the car with my with my pillow and my sleeping mat. So the next part on the list is what's accessible. I'll talk about that in a minute because it's not at the bottom of my pack. And then your stuff for day tours, which a lot of that is accessible anyway. But I suggest you start on page 2 where you pack your stuff for the chalet. It's the stuff that's going to go in your pack that you don't need to access during your ski in because it's for when you're there. Okay? So this pack at the moment weighs about 15 kilos. Do you want me to weigh it?
Do it.
Hey, of course I should. So there's 2 ways to do this. You can do it with your bathroom scales. The way you do that is you hop on the scales with your pack. It tells you you're heavier than you usually are. We're on Carpet Square, so I don't know how we go. That's telling me 90 kilos. And then without your pack, keep in mind I'm fully dressed, I've got shoes on, and I've got something really heavy in my pocket. And it's telling me what I am in pounds. Helpful. 77. So that pack, actually 78, 77.9, 78. So 90 take away 78 is what's that? 12 kilos? Yep. But what I don't have in here, so this has got my water in it, it's got my Scroggin in it, it's got my alcohol in it, because we take alcohol. What it hasn't got in it is my lump of meat and my kilo of carrots, because everybody at Falls Creek Coaches gets given this in addition to their pack. So whatever you weigh it at home, you've got another, well this is 1.5, that's 1. So this is 2.5 kilos, but this is actually smaller than what your normal roast would be for the chalet. Normally it would be a little bit larger. This was the family size that I bought that can be used in my household. So that 12 kilos plus that, I'm up to 15 kilos. Now that's a really comfortable weight until I have to carry my skis. Until I get hot and I take off my coat because it's hot and I'm carrying that as well. So that 15 kilos sounds like pretty nice. Not super light, but very doable. But you whack your skis on there, you whack your spare coat, anything extra, it gets heavier very, very quickly. And it's not a walk in the park to the chalet. Yes, it's flat, but you're skiing. The conditions could change at any moment. And like somebody said, it should be, so it's about 11 kilometres, it should be a 2 to 4 hour ski, but people are taking 8 at the moment. And that's got to change. Has to change. It's not safe. Hit 3 o'clock and the snow turns icy, so not only are you tired with a heavy pack, possibly with not quite the fitness you should have come with, but you're also skiing in more challenging conditions because the snow's turned to ice. All right, in my pack, let's get to that. I have a sit mat, very accessible, so that when I stop for lunch, I can sit on that. It also doubles up if there's a first aid emergency. My sit mat with someone else's sit mat without someone else's sit mat with a space blanket. We're laughing for safety. So in my pack, I've got my warm coat so that when I stop for lunch, and you'll see why when Alistair goes through what we wear, I've got something warm to put on, because what I'm skiing in does not need to be super, super warm, but when I'm stopped, I need to have something to rug up. When you're skiing, you're active, your circulation is moving, you'll be fine with what we tell you need to wear until you stop. Okay, so you need to have something, and it needs to be accessible. I've got my super warm mittens or gloves, which I'm not going to wear skiing, too hot, but great if I'm stopped for whatever reason, need to be accessible. And then we get into the orange bag of what I'm not going to need to access while I'm skiing. I have my chalet shoes. Now, I love these gardening clogs. You'll be sorry if you don't have them. No, you need closed-toed shoes for the chalet when you're indoors, but don't bring your hiking boots. Something light that is going to, because you've got to carry it, right? Something light that will protect your toes. These are waterproof, so they're great for when you're on parade. You don't get soggy socks. The other alternative, if you're not lucky enough like me to have some of these, is to have lightweight runners, like canvas shoes, something like that. Rather than your heavy-soled runners, you want a lightweight shoe that is still closed toes. If you think you're going to be hiking a lot on your winter party because it might be a not great snowy time of the season, you need to have shoes, like these would be no good because I can't walk in these. But at the same time, I don't need hike boots because the country up there is not, it's not like rocky and hard terrain. It's pretty flat, they're pretty well marked paths. You're not going to be stumbling and crawling over ankle rolling type business. The other alternative is you can hike in your ski boots, depending on what type of ski boots you've got. If you've got stiff plastic ones, not so great. But yeah, that is another alternative option for if you're going to be in a low snow week. Let's hope there's none of them. Also in my pack, I have my day pack. Now the reason my day pack is in my pack is because you can only wear one pack at a time. You're going, yeah, no you can't. You can wear as many packs as you like. One on the front, one on the back, one on the back of the back. No, that is really dangerous. So I've seen people try skiing like this, with this full, and as well as the pack on the back. All that it does is it's very cumbersome. This falls off your shoulders. It is not, you are not allowed to have a day pack external to your big pack when you're using your big pack. It's one or the other. If you want to take this for smaller day tours, it needs to be in there when you're carrying your big pack. I personally don't think it's necessary. Okay, if you are going to take a day pack, take a little light one that's not full of structure because extra weight. But really, you don't need it. Most of the time when you're going on a tour, you need to take your first aid stuff, your waterproof gear and food, by which time your big pack, yeah, it might be a little bit empty in there, but it still does the job, and you've got your proper harnesses and things. It does the job, and you've got it there anyway. So consider just living with that as your touring pack as well as your getting out to the chalet, your full gear thing. So think about that one. Think about all the optional items. So on the list, there's all the items in bold you need to have, not negotiable. The items that are not in bold, they're your optional things that we know you may like to bring for your own creature comforts. However, really carefully consider whether the comfort you're getting from them at the chalet is worth the trade-off in the extra weight that you have getting in there. And getting out at the other end as well. But getting in there is the big one because you're not conditioned to skiing at that stage. Saying that, if you get a chance to go skiing before your winter party to get into some condition, highly recommended. Ski Fun Day is an event that will be advertised, which we'd encourage you all to come to, but even on your own steam, to have a crew weekend, have a crew day up at Lake Mountain, whatever. A good idea to get some conditioning going on. All right. Yeah, there'll be info. All right, now, within my pack, I pack in plastic bags. So here is one plastic bag. I'll tell you what's in that in a minute. Here is another plastic bag. Now I use plastic bags because you know those packing cubes? Like really cool, but they're actually a lot heavier than a plastic bag, and a plastic bag does the job. Plastic bags are also cheaper. And my sleeping bag. That is all I have in my pack. That's it. Now you'll notice this lovely orange gar bag liner. That is just to make sure that my gear stays dry. Highly recommend that as well. I've seen people use a dry bag to do the same job. However, a dry bag weighs probably 10 times the weight of a plastic bag, and every bit adds up, like it all adds up. So in my plastic bags, what I've got, this is my bathroom one. I have a towel, don't bring a massive beach towel. The list says hike towel. I don't like hike towels. I get that. There might be things on the list you don't like either. Make your decisions about what extras you're bringing carefully, but don't bring a huge towel, okay? This is a small finish. It will dry quickly, it will get wet quickly, whatever. Face washer, ladies or people who menstruate, please bring sanitary napkins, even if you don't expect to need them. Being in a different environment, operating under different conditions, different lifestyle, things can be unpredictable. So bring a week's worth, even if you think you're not going to need them. Just, less embarrassing if you have them and don't need them than the other way around. My toiletry bag all fits in a Snuffluck bag. Now, I would not normally bring the shampoo and conditioner. I'd normally just do my hair for the week and live with it to reduce my weight. If you want, share with somebody else. Do not bring 500 mils of shampoo. You don't need that for a week, even if you are sharing with someone else. 500 mils of shampoo would be more than a whole winter party needs for a week. And that's half a kilo out of your, 12 kilos. You don't want to spend that in shampoo. In here I've also got, so I use contact lenses. So I've got my contact lenses with the contact solution, which actually fell out of here, except it's not contact solution because I didn't have a little bottle. Don't bring the big bottle, or if you do, make sure it's nearly empty. Instead, bring the small sample travel pack ones. Specsavers sell them for $6 each. Or I did talk to the chemist and they said for a week's worth, as long as the container you're decantering it into is clean, rinse it, and then you can use that for up to a week. The chemists say that it's fine. Sterilisation is not going to be compromised to a point of danger if you decanter, as long as you're decantering into something clean. Toothbrush. I use a little children's one. I've heard of people cutting the handles off their big ones to save 20 grams, but I feel like that does the same thing, a bit more comfortably. I don't know, different extremes. It also makes it fit in the Snuffluck bag, which is kind of handy. But yeah, don't bring your big heavy Kathmandu toiletry bag. A plastic bag, Snuffluck bag even better, is sufficient. Oh yeah, I've got moisturiser in here too, which that's actually in this contact lens container. Lucky they're different so I don't get them mixed up. If you need moisturiser, putting a little bit in a small container is much better than bringing a big amount. But whatever medications you need, think about the packaging. Do you need the packaging, or could you bring it in a form that is lighter weight? Just don't compromise its integrity though. Keep that in mind. I like thongs for the shower. And of course, I don't know why this is in my bathroom bag, but it is my party night costume. So on your winter party, there's usually a theme. You may have discussed that in your WhatsApp groups already, or it might be coming up. Hypothetically, let's pretend I'm going on a week that is disco theme. So I've brought a lovely tinsel wig, gorgeous, and some cool yellow sunnies. And with this, I intend to use my existing gear that I've got at the chalet. I don't even know how to put this on. There's a way. Are you going to dress me? Anyway, this paired with my thermals and my inner sheet strategically wrapped around in a mini skirt type arrangement is sufficient for your party night costume. You don't need to bring a whole costume. Use the accessories and use the gear that you've already got that you need anyway, rather than bringing stuff that is just for party night. There is certain gear at the chalet. My daughter's going on week 2. She tells me she's got her costume all worked out. The only thing she's taking is face paint. So I'm not quite sure what her intentions are, but face paint she seems to think will do sufficient, because she also knows that carrying a heavy pack is not fun. All right, so that's my bathroom stuff. In this bag, I have my inner sheet and my pillowcase. Fitted sheet, thank you, Kendra. My fitted sheet and my pillowcase. You need to bring a fitted sheet for hygiene reasons. The mattress you're sleeping on is going to be slept on and has been slept on by many other people, and to keep it clean, as we know, the chalet is a place where we all live together in a very small, cosy environment. We need to stay healthy, we need to keep our hygiene, we need to look after what we're sleeping on. You need your fitted sheet, you also need your pillowcase. The chalet's purchased satin pillowcases for all the chalet pillows, which your own private one will slide over really easily now. It also makes it really easy to be identified if you didn't bring your pillowcase and you need to borrow one from the party leader's cupboard. I think we're hiring those or something.
I think it's $10 or something.
I don't know. Your party leader will be able to help you out though, but we really want you to bring your own. If you do happen to have to borrow one from the party leader, then it will be your responsibility to make sure it gets washed before the end of the week. Okay, we obviously can't supply pillowcases to every participant that does a winter party. So super important that you bring those.
Linda, if you use an inner sheet, can you not bring a fitted sheet?
No, because the chalet is actually a really warm place to sleep. So you are intending on sleeping in your own sleeping bag, all cocooned up. I don't need a fitted sheet because I'm in my sleeping bag. Seem like a reasonable argument? I have a liner. The trouble is you get hot, you open your sleeping bag, you end up on the mattress. Therefore, you need to be protecting that mattress. It's your responsibility to respect the chalet's equipment, and the mattresses are that, by keeping it as clean as possible, by providing your own protection. Okay? Are there any queries on that?
Just want to ask, you mentioned washing if you borrowed one from the party leader. I'm just wondering the logistics of that.
The logistics are crap.
The night, last night. So
because you're using it the last night. Yeah. So yeah, the logistics are really ordinary on that, which is another reason why we really want people to bring their own. If it's an honest mistake that somebody forgot it, I think there's 4 or 5 fitted sheets up there for that emergency situation. But really, we want to avoid that if possible. It would need to be put in the washing machine the Saturday morning and hung in the drying room, which then compromises the incoming winter party, becomes a hassle for them. So we really don't want to be needing to do that. Bring your own. Think of it as your contribution to the bigger picture. All right, in here I also have my Scout uniform, which is needed for every night dinner. Uniform is worn for dinner by all Scout members, along with your alpine scarf. If you don't have an alpine scarf because you've never been on a winter party before, there it is. You'll wear your crew scarf. And during your winter party, assuming that you have participated and skied and been a real part of the group, you will be welcomed into the Alpine Rover crew as well, and you will get your own alpine scarf, which you can swap out for your crew scarf. Okay. Thermals. So I've got my pyjamas. I have a spare pair of thermals. That way, if for some reason the drying room's not working and my thermals from the previous day are still wet, I still have a spare set that I can wear. You only need one set of clothes. So they're my sleeping clothes. These are my day clothes. Thermals with modesty shorts. You don't have to wear modesty shorts. I like to. And a t-shirt, not cotton. Steer away from cotton, it doesn't dry well. So I've got plenty of thermals there. 2 sets of thermals, one to sleep in, one to live in. Modesty for the chalet. If you're cold, you've got your coat from the top of your pack if you need more, but really the chalet gets very toasty and lovely. You won't need lots and lots of stuff. Undies, you need probably 3 pairs. Bra if you're a female, if you need a bra. Even if you're not a female and you need a bra. And socks. So that's it. They're my clothes. That's all I'm taking. That's all I need to take. Okay, in addition to that, there is the stuff I need access to when I am skiing. So I've got my bottle of water, which for me goes on the side of my pack. You might have a different arrangement, that's fine. Just be aware if you've got a Camelback that if it's really cold, the water in the hose can freeze, which then makes it really difficult to get your hydration going on when you're skiing. So actually having a bottle and just slugging a few mouthfuls every now and then is potentially a better idea. In the top of my pack, I also have, oh look, my alcohol. That's probably not needing to be accessed on the way in. It's just happens to be where I shoved it today. This is 600 mils. We're saying you can bring up to 1 kilo. That includes the packaging. So you can see I've decanted mine because then I get more alcohol for my weight. But make sure that your bottle that you're decanting into is liquid proof. So that's about 600 mils. I'm allowed to have 1 kilo. That's what we've said is a fair amount. Honestly, if let's call that scotch, that's a fair number of standard drinks of scotch. If you want to drink more than that, maybe you should go to Bulba. Just saying. With that, I might have a 400 ml thing of SodaStream syrup. Okay, there's my kilo. Or I might, my winter party might decide that they want people to bring cheeses so that we can have a cheese party one night. That comes into this kilo of adult extras. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Don't overdo it. It's not only unnecessary, but it also increases risk. We have as many accidents, we probably have more accidents in the chalet due to alcohol than we do out on the snow. The trouble is it impacts, it's a lot more. It impacts getting out of the chalet at the end of your winter party if someone's got an injury that could have been avoided simply by being a little bit more responsible.
Linda, what if I bring my alcohol in glass?
You have to carry your glass out, you nutter. So do not carry it in glass. We don't accept, you cannot leave your glass at the chalet. We don't have the storage space. We have enough trouble storing the general rubbish that is generated anyway from our normal day-to-day menu. So glass, any packaging, you're responsible for getting rid of. Which is why I decanted it into plastic, because it's not only lighter, but I don't have to carry any of it out either. All right. Also accessible is my lunch for the ski-in. So I've got 2 scrolls there. It needs to be something you can have on the go, because chances are you'll be somewhere between Langford's Gap and the chalet when you're stopping to have your lunch. Bring enough for you on a high energy day, on a high activity day. It's a big day, you've started early, potentially got in late the night before. You really need to have something decent for lunch. A couple of muesli bars does not really cut it. Also Scroggin. This is enough. The chalet is full of food. There is dried fruit there. We have good meals. The trouble is, I've been to winter parties, I reckon you were there, and people are sitting around the chalet snacking on their scroggin in the chalet. That's not what it's for. And then it gets to dinner time and they're not really hungry for the good stuff that gives you the long-lasting energy, the full energy. So this is your energy hit that you need when you are halfway into the chalet needing a little bit more. Okay, this is did I say 500 grams? This is 500 grams. It's a packet of peanut M&Ms and some snakes. Good, quick energy. These extras add up really fast. You've got half a kilo there. You've got over a kilo of water there. You've got a kilo of adult extras there. These extras add up fast. Go conservative on your Scrogger, no matter how much of an excuse it is to pig out on lollies. Save it for your drive home and keep it in your car. Just bring one Snuplock bag is sufficient. The other thing I've got ready access is my survival kit. So in here I have my first aid kit, whoops, was in there. My whiteout cord. So this is 50 metres. I think we've said 25 metres on the packing list because actually you're not skiing by yourself. So if you actually do get caught in a whiteout and you do actually need it, you've got enough people to tie them together and use it. The way whiteout cord is used is one person hangs onto one end, the other person skis out with the other end. When they get to that, they traverse round until they hit a snow pole that you can't see because it's a whiteout, and then the rest of the group follows the rope in and you do it again. Really slow process, really, really crap. In saying that, really rarely needed, because usually even when it's overcast or low visibility, often you can be like, there's the snow pole, oh, it's gone. Oh, there it is. So you can sort of see it enough to not need this, but if you're absolutely white out, this can save your life. It can get you home, okay? But 25 metres is enough because in the slim chance that you do need it, you can tie a couple together and get your length that way. All right, if it's really shit, you'll take the effort to do that. The other thing I've got is a few hand warmers so that in an emergency situation, we can get some warmth into somebody if someone's hypothermic, whatever. You also need to make sure in your kit that you're carrying an emergency blanket. By emergency blanket, we don't mean anything big. We mean one of these little suckers. They're not expensive, they're not heavy, and yet they can save your life. That with a couple of hand warmers enclosed in them will do wonders until help arrives if you are in that situation where you need help. Could be an injury, could be hypothermia, could be a medical incident that's unrelated to anything except that the individuals happen to choose that moment to have a turn. So make sure that you've all got one of those as well. If everyone's carrying all of that, there is no need for a massive group first aid kit. Everyone's doing their little bit to bring it together. There's a triangular bandage in there, there's some blister tape in there, all the stuff that actually is needed without the extra. I've also got spare gloves for when my gloves get wet because I don't like wet hands. My sun hat, because you never know, it might be a lovely day. So that's in my ready access stuff. Now you might notice I haven't got my coat or my overpants. That's because I'm wearing those. They're not in my pack because they're on me. So when I fall over, my overpants will keep my butt dry. Alistair. So this is Alistair. Alistair is wearing what you should be wearing when you get on the bus at the Falls Creek Coaches Depot in Mount Beauty. Plus his ski boots. Where are your ski boots? You had them on the other night.
Oh, that's from home.
Do you want mine? Okay, with his ski boots, you should be ready to go on the snow when you get on that bus in Mount Beauty so that when we get there, we can go. You wear your socks instead. Awesome. So Alistair is wearing his outer layer here, which is just shell. It's not a padded coat. You've always wanted that, haven't you? There's no padding here. All it is waterproof. This is a Gore-Tex coat. Any of the breathable types are best because they won't sweat. Your big downhill puffer jackets are not appropriate. They're fine if you're in a blizzard, but anything less than a blizzard, you'll overheat, dangerously so. Okay, if the weather's really, 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 really crap, you'll be fine. But anything less than that, you shouldn't have it. So instead of your puffer stuff, go layers. So we've got a waterproof layer here. You can take that off. Oh, we've got waterproof layer on the gloves. So these are over mitts. You can undress yourself. So over mitts to keep hands dry, and over pants which are also not padded. Okay. The thing with over pants too is make sure, good idea to have either drawstring. Most of them come with a drawstring, I think. Even the cheap ones, I think, have a drawstring.
Yeah. These ones have elastic instead.
Okay, so elastic's less lovely. The other option is some braces to hold them up. Because when you're busy skiing and your pack's on your back and you end up with this webbing down here and a real exposed section here because your pants fall down and it's really hard to hitch them up when you've got a pack on your back and your socks in your hands. So having overpants that will stay up on their own, highly recommend. Highly recommend. So either braces or a drawstring will help solve that problem. All right, take your outside layer off.
Someone play some music.
La, 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 la. Now, not everybody will have zippers. And honestly, you can pick them up from Anaconda. I think someone said $15 the other night.
$10 Decathlon.
$10.
Have done me 5 seasons. Highly recommend.
They'll do the job. They'll do the job.
Under the snow does not need to.
Okay, so under the outside layer of waterproofness, we have what we call a mid layer, which is a lightweight polar fleece. Your gloves, modesty shorts, thank you. And that's it. That's your mid layer. So you've got your shell, your mid layer, and then underneath that is your thermal underwear layer. And that's all you need for skiing in. If you get cold, you've got in your pack easy access your warmer coat if you actually need it. While you're skiing, you won't need it. When you're stopped, you probably will. So don't be afraid to get it out.
Or a second thicker polar fleece.
Yeah, yes. So I've got a down jacket because I'm lucky. But if it gets wet, it's useless. So think twice about that too. A heavier weight polar fleece than the one Alistair's wearing may be a better choice for you as your extra layer that you're going to carry in your pack for when you stop. All right. Is that done?
Sure. I mean, it's just
Leave the modesty shots on. Socks, you probably want to, especially if you're in high gear, although I do it even with my own gear, 2 pairs. Just, it helps prevent blisters. Did you tape your feet? Did you tape your feet? The other thing you need to do inside your socks before you even leave is to tape your feet where you think the blisters will be. Okay? Do it on Friday night before you go to sleep. Speaking of Friday night, this is my Toowoomba Hall gear. It's not coming into the chalet with me, except that my set of that is in here. Yes, this is a good example of where to tape your feet.
I mean, take your feet like random guy.
Good example. All right, for Toowoomba, you'll probably want a pillow. It stays in the car. You're not bringing it into the chalet. We have pillows in the chalet. You'll have your sleeping mat. You only need that for the hall because the wooden floor is really hard. We have mattresses in the chalet. You do not need to carry it into the chalet. So it will go in the car. And this bag is my set of raincoat, overpants, thermals. What I haven't got is pyjamas for Toowoomba Hall, which sounds really raunchy. But actually, I wear my thermals that I'm going to wear the next day as my pyjamas for Toowoomba Hall night. And then when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to get dressed. Mount Beauty, do not go to Toowoomba. Go to Mount Beauty Scout Hall. It used to be Toowoomba, and I clearly I'm clearly going to the wrong place myself. All right. Any questions? You'll notice I only have one sleeping bag, but if I take out my 2 other bags, it's really easy to get for Toowoomba. If you want, you could have a second one that you don't. If you're going to Mount Beauty Scout Hall, you could have a separate sleeping bag, but it's not actually hard to get this one out when everything's bagged up neatly anyway. Sunnies or goggles, they'll be in my Toowoomba, my Mount Beauty Scout Hall bag, I think, I hope, with my socks and my beanie and my gloves and my buff and my mid-layer and my pyjamas, which are actually my thermals. Oh, that's what else I need. I've lost my up and go. Is breakfast. I did have 2 muesli bars and an up and go in there somewhere. It's probably loose in the bag. There it is. And my sunscreen is also in my Mount Beauty Scout Hall bag because I need to put it on in the morning. I don't want to be digging in my pack to get that. Breakfast at Mount Beauty is a must, so a couple of muesli bars is not enough. Up and go with some muesli bars might be enough. Breakfast is so important, but it needs to be quick and easy. So a bowl of cereal, if it's muesli, might be good enough, but rice bubbles is not going to get you there. You need to have decent breakfast with you as well. So the meals you need to bring are your breakfast for Saturday morning before we go on the bus and your lunch for the ski-in. Dinner will be at the chalet, supplied by the chalet, cooked by you when you get in there. Any questions about gear? Is there anything I've forgotten? Oh, skis. Good one.
And what not to bring, Linda.
Oh, we'll do that in a minute. So, when you book your skis, you need to make sure that you get backcountry skis. Cross country is not quite what we do. It's backcountry. Cross country assumes that you are on groomed snow. We're not. We're not on groomed snow. The things to look for to make sure you are getting the right thing when they give it to you is it should have a pattern on the base. So the pattern, it should have metal edges. It should have bindings that look something like this. They might be a little bit chunkier. They also, what you need to supply is these runaway straps, and that is so that this is so that no one has to risk their life retrieving your ski from the bottom of a hill. It actually is dangerous. The way it works, your foot's in the ski, the strap is attached. Sorry, people at the back.
Yeah, do it on the table.
Take off the boots and then put it into the ski.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Okay, so your foot's in the ski. This is my foot. In the what? My foot's in the boot. The boot's in the ski.
7 foot.
The runaway strap. So this is a homemade one with plastic buckles and webbing. You can buy them for about $3 proper ones. I haven't, obviously. Before I knew they existed, my husband made me some. That just wraps around your ankle and clips shut. And that means that when your ski comes off accidentally, it can't go anywhere. Okay, it's tied to you. It's a really, really good idea. Really good idea. So yeah, they are on the packing list. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's about having some way of tying your skis to your legs for insurance. Your boots will go into the bindings. Your party leader will show you how to put them on if you haven't ski before when you set out.
What other styles are acceptable?
Of
Skis, like.
skis, this sort are good.
75 millimeter is what you're after. Do not bring
75
triple N.
millimetre. There are, you have triple N bindings, we don't recommend those. So if you're hiring from Rocky Valley, they have both sorts. These ones actually cost a little bit more, but these are the ones we want you to get. Because if the triple N binding bar breaks, which we've had happen, you can't fix them. There's no, it's impossible to fix. With this sort, we've got bits and pieces with Chalet, and they are fixable. You can jerry with these ones. Where the other sort, it's you're sort of stuffed for the rest of your week if you break them. These ones we can do something about it. Any questions? Okay, there's a whole lot of things I haven't mentioned. I have not mentioned books. That's because I'm not bringing books. There's books at Chalet. I'm not bringing my hairdryer. I've already told you I don't even want to wash my hair. You don't need a hairdryer. You don't need any electrical appliance. We will have up at the Chalet a speaker, a communal speaker. You're going to have to be considerate of each other in what you play and use, but bring your music on USB. We don't want to see people carrying in their own speakers. It's unnecessary weight, and there's one there. Chargers, you can bring a charger cord. You don't need to bring the adapter thing. There's a whole panel one that has lots of slots in it for USB charging. What else don't you need? Go, Kat. You've got this.
Musical instruments.
There's musical instruments up there. You don't need to bring your
Sheet
own.
music for the music instruments.
Is up there.
Go through which instruments we have.
We have 2 guitars and a keyboard and the bongo drums and a didgeridoo. What's that one?
The shaker maraca things.
Are they
We have
maracas?
those.
Yeah, we have shakers.
Oh. Anyway, there's plenty of musical instruments. You don't need to bring your own.
Soda stream.
There is a soda stream up there, so you can bring the syrup. You don't need to bring the gas. We've got a big gas cylinder up there. So you need to bring your own syrup if you're going to use soda stream, but as far as the actual machine and the gas goes, soft drink sorted. Don't bring soft drink.
Foam roller.
Foam roller, if you feel like doing some physio fun, there's foam rollers up there.
Pens and paper and board games.
All that stuff, oh my god, the board games are like hundreds. If you've been before, you know there's lots of board games. Traditional ones as well as some of the more fun ones.
Pillows and a washing machine.
Yes, the washing machine. Please use the washing machine because I don't want to wear my single pair of skiing thermals for a whole week without washing them. There's a washing machine there, so that's why I didn't need to bring lots and lots of clothes.
And the laundry detergent is supplied.
Correct. Laundry detergent. So we use the Yucca stuff, which is low allergenic powder. That's pretty happy for everybody. It's a pretty generically healthy, low environmentally friendly, bodily friendly powder.
And label your stuff because we do communal loads. You don't do like a load of washing just for your stuff. It's like everyone's stuff it together.
Oh, hot tip. Delicates bags. Get a big delicates bag, put all your stuff in that, put it in the washing machine, you know exactly which bag's your stuff.
You could put your clothes in that to keep them separate instead of plastic.
No, I mean like in the physical washing
Yeah,
machine.
you could double it up.
Oh, yes, yes.
Dual purpose. Sorry?
This is the big
No, this is the workbook layer. That's just to keep things easy to pull out, access my sleeping bag to walk out. And not have someone rummaging through my bag on the snow like I did last year. There was someone had their undies and everything spilled out on the snow because we had to access something because they used the bag. Shouldn't have packed it at the end
Just going back on skis, don't bring downhill skis or any skis where the heel is locked in to the binding. You must be able to move the heel up and down the ski turret.
Very true. Question?
Am I allowed to bring my homework?
Okay, homework. If you can possibly take a week off homework, the week at the chalet is the week to do it. If you're a venturer doing VCE and you absolutely must,
Get over yourself.
actually don't bring your homework.
Who needs an exam?
Don't bring your homework. Take a week off. You're allowed to have a week off.
You won't get it done if you bring it anyway.
You won't do it.
Or if you manage.
Yep.
Are all the ski poles the same, or are there specific ones?
So ski poles, similar. So downhill ski poles seem to be shorter generally. The ski poles you need for the chalet need to be from up to, so between my armpit and my shoulder. That's the perfect height for touring. So they should be going, when you get fitted, they should be looking up here to the height, not down here. Like these are adjustable ones, which is kind of handy. But most of the ones you're hiring will be fixed, and they should be somewhere between your armpit and your shoulder in length.
And the bars.
They should also have a decent sized basket on them. We hope. Not a little cup. It should be something that's going to not stand through the snow. The snow's not green, so it's not necessarily firm. Good question. Anything else?
Ooh, that's a good one. Head
Oh,
torch.
my head torch was in my survival kit. It's actually this bad. I may not have got it out, but yes, you do need the head torch.
Can I just put like my hand torch like in my beanie?
No,
So
it won't stay there.
right.
So you need a head torch. Make sure the batteries are good and potentially take the spare ones. Batteries don't last so long in cold environments. So make sure that the batteries are good. Don't bring a head torch and discover that you've got a torch that doesn't work, because that's, useless, really. Yep.
Niche question possibly, but that big USB charging thing, is that Type A or Type C?
But we have a mix
It's
of
got
both.
Both?
Got both.
Good question.
That's not a silly question. There are no silly questions.
But we'll let them.
And of course, we can, if anyone's got other questions, we can answer them later. However, often you're not the only person who someone might not just not have thought of the question, and they might appreciate the answer to it.
Ask you WhatsApp.
Ask your WhatsApp, good one, good idea. Yep, so questions in the WhatsApp's a good way, especially as things come up. You might not be thinking of it tonight, but you might think of it closer to the time. Yep.
With thermals,
Any thermals are okay. So you've got your polyprop ones, which are the cheapest, the smelliest, and possibly the warmest. They work. That's what I've got. That's what these are. Then it's the Aldi ones. I've got those too. And then you've got your merino ones, whichever you have or want, whatever you're comfortable with. But yeah, the polyprop ones you can pick up for $25 a piece.
Just not cotton. Don't.
Just, yeah, no cotton, no jeans, no cotton. Jeans are cotton. With Alice's Modesty shorts, you could wear hiking pants as an alternative. But notice they're not cotton, they're lightweight.
Zip
You
off
might even
one's
have the
good.
zip off ones that you can wear depending on what you feel like for the good party night if you need extra fashion bits. So yeah, as you mid-lay instead of your shorts, these are appropriate because they're thin, light, and they'll dry quickly if they do get wet. That's the smells. Ooh, I wear nothing now. Any other questions? Chris?
Gaiters?
Gaiters optional, so they are on the optional list. Just keep in mind, it depends a little bit on your ski boots, whether they even fit under them. So if you're a gaiter wearer, you can. It's extra weight on your legs, but not massive amounts. So yeah, gaiters, entirely up to you. We don't say you have to. A lot of people are wearing overpants anyway, which protects their, stops the snow getting into the boots that way with the overpants. Anyone else?